Without further ado, I'm going to welcome our first guest to the stage, somebody who needs no introduction because he runs one of the most successful social sort of search tech everything platforms. Reddit CEO Steve Huffman, please come join us on the table. Steve, how do you describe Reddit? Is it a social platform? Is it a search platform? Is it a community platform? What do you say?
Okay, thanks for having me here. I see we have 19 minutes left. It usually takes me like 2 hours to describe Reddit. So, look, we've been around 20 years, and Reddit has evolved a lot over those years. If I have 30 seconds, I say Reddit is a platform for community and conversation, where people can connect around their interests and passions, whatever they're into, whatever they're going through, whether profound, mundane, day-to-day, serious, vulnerable, it's all on Reddit. And as we enter in it's kind of the AI search era, there's actually kind of another generation of Reddit, which is as the not AI platform, the place where you're free from AI, where you talk to humans about human things, and then paradoxically, we're also building AI search ourselves over all of those human conversations. And so Reddit, it's a vast and dynamic place, to say the least.
If you are a consumer of Reddit, which I am, and I'm also a poster on Reddit, I think in the context of this conversation around travel, Reddit has become a place where you can get real human feedback and not necessarily the brand posting what you want them to see. Authentic user feedback. As a CEO of the company, what's your advice for a consumer that's starting out their travel journey on the platform? How would you help them navigate it?
So we have a new product we just launched in December of last year called Reddit Answers. And what Reddit Answers does is you ask it a question. And there's a particular type of question that we're great at, which is I call subjective real-time questions. And it happens to be that travel questions are basically entirely subjective. Right? What's the best place to go? What's the best, funnest thing to do there? What's the tipping culture? What's the dressing etiquette? All of these things where there isn't necessarily a right answer, where their answer is the conversation, where the answer is the 20 opinions about that topic. And so that's what Reddit is amazing at. And so Reddit Answers basically summarizes all the conversations that have happened on Reddit over the last 20 years about these topics. And so travel is a great one. But then you can also join the travel communities. And so there's communities for every place. I'm a United flyer, and so there's a big subreddit for United Airlines, Delta, they're all there. And then there's a whole bunch of communities for packing. There's a community that I loved for a while called One Bag. And it was a community for people who are trying to find the perfect bag. And then through that community, I actually found the perfect community for me, which is called Many Bags, which is for the person who is addicted to buying bags, which is not a disability I realized I had until relatively recently.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that you're a United loyalist. I am too. We'll have the CEO of Mileage Plus up in a few minutes, so I'll make sure to connect you guys. Richard Dunn. Yeah. When we think about brands, how do brands kind of take advantage of the consumer travel journey on Reddit?
And so, as a brand, there are many ways you can show up on Reddit. Actually, we're also trying to expand. And so there's the most formal way, which would be as an advertiser. But even advertising on Reddit is more human than anywhere else because you would be in a community. And so you have to be kind of appreciative of the fact that you're in an unofficial, informal community space. But we've seen brands over the years become very good at that. And so something brands can do that's very effective is show up and ask a question. For example, if you were a travel brand, you could show up on Reddit and say, hey, what's your best travel tip? Right? And just facilitate a conversation like that. But then we also see brands doing customer service. Just showing up, they'll see their customers on Reddit talking about their brand, talking about their product, their company, and they'll just answer questions as the brand, just to provide good customer service, and that is very effective as well. And then we recently launched, we actually just announced this morning, this family of products called Community Insights, which is where you as a brand can see what people are saying about your company, about your space. It's basically like social listening on steroids. But instead of just getting mentions, you get the motivations, right? You actually get a lot of context in what your customers really want and need. And so that whole family of products is rolling out as we speak.
So, a question for you. Once you're a brand and you get a bunch of these insights, what's the action that you take? Are you hoping that someone takes these insights and says, you know what, maybe I need to engage more one-on-one through these sort of Q&As, or maybe I need to become an advertiser? Or is the idea that you use those insights just to fuel ad campaigns?
All of the above.
Okay.
You can find your promoters and turn their nice statements into ads, so you can promote your promoters. You can find your customers who are having challenges or having feedback, and you can interact with them directly. We've seen brands get like product inspiration. And so an example, this was from, I think last year, we had Scott's paper towels. They learned on Reddit that Scott's is the preferred brand of RV owners. And they didn't know this.
Why?
Because it's easier on the plumbing systems. And so then they learned that this whole customer segment they didn't know about. And so there's little gems like that of just like, how are your customers really using you or want to use you? And so because Reddit, it's all about the actual community intelligence and revealing what people believe, whether it's in a commercial context or not. It happens to be, and we didn't design Reddit this way, it just happens to be that a lot of what people talk about is what they're going to buy next. Half of the conversations on Reddit are basically commercial in nature. It turns out within every hobby, within every passion, within all these travel decisions, you're actually kind of deciding what to buy next. What should I watch next? What should I wear next? What game should I play? Where should I go? What should I do? And so it turns out it's a natural place for customers to meet the companies over a genuine shared interest.
When we think about Reddit, 20 years old, long history, but you're only recently a publicly traded company. That's new. I think investors are very eager to understand how Reddit is going to continue to commercialize, how it's going to grow its business. Like, what is the vision for that? Is it mostly going to be advertising? Are you thinking of other ways to, charge subscriptions or licensing? What's the idea there?
Ads is our primary business model, and it's great. It scales. It works really well. A lot of the stuff we've talked about today is kind of getting in that direction of what is kind of the future business opportunities for Reddit. But because I think the customer relationship is so natural, there's so many different ways for companies to show up. And so the community insights tools, Reddit Pro as a place for brands to have their headquarters on Reddit, basically productizing what our customers and users and brands are already doing on Reddit, just making things easier across the spectrum.
Walk us through Reddit Pro.
So Reddit Pro is another family of products where you as a brand can have kind of your profile on Reddit, like your headquarters, where you control the branding, you can post all of your content there. It's like your official space. And then from there, we can show you insights, like where are the organic parts of Reddit that are talking about your products and companies, so you can go find your customers, interact with their customers, see what they're saying. And so just creating the tools for brands to be first-class citizens on Reddit. Because one of the funny things about Reddit, if you've been on Reddit for a long time, there's a little bit of this paradox, which is it feels like a non-commercial space. Because what Reddit really, really values is authenticity. And so, but what we find is the answer to complex questions like how does a brand, a commercial entity, exist in an authentic space? And the answer is often through transparency and intentionality. And so our users don't want to be tricked, right? They don't want your brand, your marketing team sneaking around in there pretending to be real users. But if you show up as your brand and say, hey, I'm here to help, I see this problem, blah, 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 that actually is totally fine. And so just making it easier for brands to be transparently themselves.
I think when most people start their Reddit journeys, obviously you have so many millions that are app users, active app users, there's a lot of people who come to Reddit through search. And I think a big media story from this past year has been Reddit has skyrocketed in search results. I think you guys have a partnership with Google. Like, why do you think Reddit has become so hot with search? Is it that partnership? Is it just the nature of Reddit?
The partnership is actually for access to our content for AI training.
So this is completely just fluke.
It's not for search. Now, nobody ever believes me, but even to us in our relationship with Google, search is a black box. But the reason we do well in search is because Reddit has what internet consumers want, which is authentic information and answers to their questions. And so we've had a long symbiotic relationship with Google. It just turns out when people go to Google, they ask for Reddit by name. And so Reddit, for over the last year, the word Reddit has been in the top 10 searched words on Google.
Wow.
The last time I looked this up, we were number 6 between the word news and the word Trump, which
good place
also
to be.
kind of triangulates us in the media landscape. And because people know, especially increasingly in the AI world, where the rest of the internet is written by AI, summarized by AI, that the human perspective stands out. I think AI and LLM search is incredibly powerful. But there's times when people just want to talk to people. And so similar to how the last 10 years Reddit has been positioned as not social media, right? Social media is friends and followers and famous people and algorithms and performative, you've all been on social media. Reddit is not those things. And so it's a relief from social media. I think similarly, over the next 10 years, Reddit will be the not AI space. Now, ironically, we're one of the largest sources of training data for the AIs. And so there's this paradox of we're a big part in the creation of AI, but we're also the human, not AI space. So it's complicated.
It's complicated. We'll take that. When I think about Reddit as a platform for marketers and advertisers, one of the interesting things about Reddit is its text base. You guys support video, you support pictures, but I think predominantly it's around conversations. Is that the right way to be thinking about Reddit if you're a marketer, if you're a consumer? Is it always going to be that way, or are you going to go in the direction of a lot of other folks and go full TikTok or go full video?
So we've long been what we say content type agnostic, right? Reddit is a place for having conversations about things. Originally, Reddit was all links. This is 20 years ago. Just finding interesting links on the internet was hard. And so Reddit was all links, but what Reddit really was a community of people having conversation about the links of the day. News, blogs, funny stuff. Then we evolved to support images. We pioneered the meme and the GIF. My apologies. We support video. Reddit has a lot of video. It's one of the fastest growing content types on Reddit, but we don't think of ourselves as a video platform. It's just a place where people talk about the link, the text post, the image, the video. And so I think however the content landscape on the internet evolves, Reddit will evolve with it. But what we want to have is the people talking about the content. Some of it's ours, some of it's external. So
you're an interesting CEO because you're also a co-founder. So you've been there. This is your brainchild. This is your baby. This platform. What are you the most proud of that Reddit has accomplished in these past 20 years?
There was an era. So 2005. Facebook is a year old. YouTube is like 6 months old. Twitter, Snap, Pins, Insta, TikTok, they didn't exist. Social media as a word didn't exist. Influencers as a concept did not exist. We watched all of these other platforms explode in growth. They're younger than us, and then they became bigger than us. And at the company, there was times when we were, I think, insecure about that. We saw what they were doing to grow, And we deliberately decided to not go that route, to not go friends and followers, to stick with communities. The friends and followers model is very powerful because it leads to actual exponential growth. The irony of Reddit is that we create virality, but we ourselves are not viral. It's made Reddit, in our past, difficult for investors because we'd always be compared to social media. What I'm really proud of is that we stuck to our values and our principles about what Reddit is and what Reddit's for and what makes Reddit uniquely Reddit. And we were able to survive long enough for Reddit to, I think, stand out for its uniqueness. And so where it didn't make a lot of sense, I think it increasingly makes sense in a world where social media has dominated for so long. And I think it will make even more sense in a world where AI begins to dominate. And so we've just tried to kind of not follow trends, even when the political winds blow this way and that way, stay out of that, and just focus on making Reddit the best version of Reddit, the most authentic, fun, human community place on the internet.
And a good business case study in that you don't have to compromise your values to eventually IPO and go public and grow. Steve, this is tough. You actually started a travel company at one point. You've done a lot of traveling. We will connect you to the Mileage Plus CEO, don't worry. You got to pick a baby. Where's the best place you've ever been?
Where is the best place I've ever been? Okay, so I have an answer I know you're going to find extremely disappointing. Okay, so I left Reddit for a while. In the middle, I started a travel company, which I don't think you knew when we booked this. And so I actually spent 5 years in the travel industry slinging plane tickets. I live in San Francisco in the Bay Area. Almost anywhere I travel, and I have 2 young kids, I think, couldn't we just go to our house in California? It's so beautiful there. So my favorite place to travel is Sonoma County. I mean, I love it here. It's nice. But
it's fine.
I mean, Sonoma County has a Mediterranean climate. It's just like 10 degrees cooler. It's just so, come out west. It's great.
Okay. Favorite travel accessory?
Oh my gosh. Well, I told you about my bag issue. I have this Anker charger that's like a wall plug, battery, computer charger, kind of all in one thing. And so I spent a lot of time trying to find, like, I do travel a lot, especially for work, despite me being a total homebody. And finding that one perfect charger was a real victory.
That's a huge one, Anker. I will remember that. And lastly, best travel tip?
I have a bag. If you travel a lot,
Bags.
So I have a backpack that's like my on the road backpack that's just always ready to go. So it's got my chargers, it's got my toiletries, it's got a little tennis ball I use to like get knots out of my back, and so that's just always ready to go. So if I need to take a trip, I just toss my clothes in there, and that's it. And so I never forget the little things.
So smart, the ready-to-go bag. I love that Reddit is the not AI company that every other AI company relies on heavily. Super interesting. And very, very helpful to know about this new community insights platform. I had no idea. So everyone, make sure you check that out.
Thank you. And then I guess I'm ironically the not travel guy as well.
And the not travel guy. He's just full of irony. Reddit CEO Steve Huffman, thank you so much.
Thank you all.